No one expected this Filipino boy to outshine Elvis. Until Simon Cowell hit the golden buzzer. The auditorium lights dimmed, and a quiet murmur swept through the crowd. It was the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent 2025, and the judges had already seen everything, from fire dancers to opera singers. But when a shy 12-year-old boy from the Philippines named Liam Cruz walked onto the stage, clutching an old guitar with a crack along the neck, no one expected much. His shoes were scuffed, his hands trembling, and his accent heavy as he greeted the judges. Hello, everyone. My name is Liam. I'm from Cebu, Philippines. A few people smiled politely, some skeptically. He didn't look like a star. He looked like a boy who'd seen more hardship than hope. Simon Cowell leaned forward, curious. So, Liam, what are you going to sing for us today? The boy hesitated, glancing at the floor before whispering, Elvis Presley's Can't Help Falling in Love. The audience chuckled softly, another kid trying to take on the king. But Liam's reason for choosing Elvis wasn't about showing off. It was about love, the kind his father used to sing about under the stars back home before the typhoon took him away. His mother had sold food by the roadside to feed them, and every night, Liam sang beside her stall, his little voice trying to drown out the sound of hunger. As the soft chords of the guitar filled the room, the laughter died instantly. His voice, gentle yet soulful, poured through the hall like sunlight through stained glass. Every note carried a story, of loss, hope, and the fragile beauty of dreams. The tone was rich, the phrasing uncanny, almost like Elvis himself had returned, but with a touch of raw innocence that made it even more powerful. By the second verse, the audience was silent. Even Amanda Holden had tears in her eyes. Liam's mother, watching from backstage, pressed her hands to her mouth, trembling. It was more than a song. It was a miracle that her boy was standing here, his heart finally being heard. But halfway through the performance, a string on his guitar suddenly snapped. The hall gasped. Liam froze for a moment, staring at the broken string, fear flooding his face. For a heartbeat, it seemed like his dream would collapse right there. Simon leaned forward as if ready to call it off, but then Liam took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and kept singing a cappella. His voice soared higher, purer, carrying the melody on its own wings. The audience stood to their feet, clapping in rhythm, as if urging him on. And then something remarkable happened. The backup pianist, seeing Liam struggle, quietly began playing along. The sound of the piano merged with Liam's trembling voice, turning the performance into something transcendent. It wasn't planned. It wasn't polished. But it was real. Every syllable carried the ache of a child who had seen too much, and yet still believed in beauty. When Liam sang the final line, "Take my hand, take my WH." After the show, during the backstage interview, a reporter asked Simon why he hit the buzzer. He smiled faintly and said, because that wasn't just a performance, it was a reminder of what music is supposed to do. It's supposed to touch souls. And that boy just touched the world. Within hours, Liam's video went viral across social media. Millions of people shared it, writing captions like, "This kid reminded me that hope still exists," and, "The voice of an angel from the Philippines." Donations poured in for his family, and a famous music school in London offered him a full scholarship. But the most touching moment came a week later, when Liam used part of his first prize money not to buy anything for himself, but to rebuild the small chapel in his hometown that had been destroyed by the typhoon. "My papa used to sing there," he told the local press. "I want other kids to have a place to sing too." Months later, at the grand finale, Liam stood on stage once again, his posture confident but humble. He looked out at the packed arena, at Simon smiling proudly in the judge's seat, and at his mother in the front row, her hands clasped in prayer. When he opened his mouth to sing again, it wasn't about proving anything anymore. It was about thanking the world for listening. The boy who once sang beside a roadside was now singing to millions, and not because he wanted fame, but because he carried a voice that reminded people everywhere that greatness doesn't come from where you're born or what you own. It comes from the heart. And as Simon Cowell later said in a follow-up interview, Elvis had a golden voice. But this boy, he's got a golden soul.